Let's take a look at how much money you actually make from streaming. And these are going to be my songs, my numbers that I'm pulling directly from my distributor. And there's going to be a bit of a difference, I'm sure, with regard to all other artists in the world releasing music. But I think this is pretty safe to say that this would be an average revenue per stream or take home revenue that you can count on if you want to release music on Spotify and all the streaming services. We're going to be taking a look at these songs, the top 5 songs that I have on Spotify: Skeletons in Your Closet, Don't Start Now, Goodbye, King of My Own, Old Habits. It's not just taking into consideration just the Spotify streams. It's going to be looking at Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, all the other streaming platforms, like all the streams you get from those. It's all taken into that one pot. Now, the other thing to keep in mind here, these numbers are going to be different based on what your distributor has, because there's always like a 2 or 3 month delay from streaming service to your distributor or label. Here are the numbers: 173,000, revenue $363, and here's your revenue per stream. So you can go through the rest. Don't Start Now, Goodbye, King of My Own, and Old Habits, with a take-home value of $1,230.42. So over 5 songs. And you might look at that number and be like, hey, that's not bad, right? Like $1,200. I'll take that. But you got to keep in mind there's so much missing context here. These songs have been, the oldest song here was released almost 2 years ago. So if you're looking at like 2 years of revenue and you're taking that number, then it just begins to fall apart, because that's not a lot for over 2 years, right? So if you want to make $50,000 a year before tax, so nothing has been taxed on this number, let's try to find out. Let's go over to the bottom tab here, because I kind of set this up, and we can just type in different stream values based on this song to try to get this number up to 50,000. And then we'll add more context onto this number, like based if you own all the royalties, who's distributing your music, because you have to pay them as well. Okay, so let's say if I just focused all in on Spotify and maybe put way more effort into promoting these songs, let's say I could have 10x'd the promotion on every single song that I released here. So then that's a lot, 10x. So, but let's try it. So we'll add a 0 to every stream count here. So I'm 10xing, multiplying by 10 every song, which gives me a total revenue of 12,000. So I've just 10x'd my effort in promoting these songs, and I'm still only taking away $12,386.97. So not great still. Let's now try 10xing some of these, like the smaller ones in the 100,000s. So this one, 10x that one, we'll 10x this one. So we're at 33,000 take home annually. Again, lots of missed context here. These songs would need to be released in a 1-year block, and we're not taking into consideration like future revenue that they would add if you keep adding new songs on. So we're still not at the 50,000. Let's just like take your best song and say it's a hit. And then, I'm not saying this is my best song, but let's just 10x this one again. Get into that 10 millions range. So 66,592. Okay, so we've kind of surpassed that $50,000 range now, right, on an annual level. So you can say, as an independent artist, you make $66,000 a year. If you want to do that, then you'd have to release 5 songs a year with these streams, or 1 song with that total stream count, right? We can actually just, and what would be easier would just be to create a sum here. So we have that 30 million streams. So you could technically just release 1 song a year and get 30 million streams. Sounds so much, saying it is so much easier than actually doing it. That's quite hard to do that consistently annually, unless you're a really, really big artist. There's such a disproportionate take-home value for those that are getting billions of streams, right? Once you're getting billions of streams, you're making tons of money. But that kind of segues into this next topic, which is your actual take-home number of the revenue here is dependent on your share of royalties. So on average, an independent artist might own 70% of your royalties, because maybe you split with a producer, maybe you give a little bit to your distributor. So we can say at this 66,592, let's say generous, we own 70%. So we're actually taking home 46,614. This is still before tax, by the way. So you should kind of go to the gov and pay them their share too. So we're now below that $50,000. So we'd actually probably need to bump this up to maybe 40 million. So we can 10x maybe this Old Habit song. I know this is getting pretty analytical, but stay with me here. Okay, now I've just 10x the Old Habit song to 10 million. Now we're at total 39 million streams annually to make 94,000. Say we own 70% of 94,000. So we have a take home of 66,000 now, but we still have to pay tax on that. So you're probably looking at, I don't know, tax rate there of like, let's say, what, 16%? I have no idea there. So you're looking at, you're taking away 10,000 from that 66,000. So you're back to now 56,000. I'm rounding a lot of these numbers. Let's say that's what you would need to make $50,000 a year. You would need 39 million streams if you release one song a year, and then you own 70% of the master. Now, technically, this does and should get easier as you continue to release more songs, because if this song gets 39 million streams in 1 year, it's likely to get probably not as much, but maybe 50% the next year. So the next year, you hopefully would get 20 million streams from that song you released. That means you can release another song that has 20 million, but maybe it's a hit again and it has 40 million. So you can see as you release more music and they become more successful, or even if they're not successful, that recurring revenue will still grow. Now let's take a look at if you are like signed to a label. Let's say you own, on a good day, 30% of the master. Let's add another 10 million streams just to one song here to bring us up to 50 million. Okay, so at 50 million streams, you're taking home 120,000, but you only own 30% of the master. So you're actually only taking away 36,000 of that 120,000. Still, you're not at that $50,000 a year. So let's add another 10 million. So we're at 64 million. Okay, let's bump it up a bit more. So 151,000, your overall take home. But you only own 30% of the master. You're at 45,000, so you're still not at $50,000 a year. Let's just change this to a 10 million. So now we have 74 million streams per year to take home 175,839, but you're signed to a label. You only own 30% of the master. So now you're taking away 52,751. Pretty good, but you have to pay tax on that. So you're probably still subtracting at least 15%. So you have to subtract that 52,000 by 8. So we're looking at, this is a bit on the low end, but if you are signed to a label and you want to make $50,000 a year, you should probably try to get 75 million streams per year on the songs, and not taking into account any past songs you've released and any future songs that you are going to release. So much easier said than done. If you are wanting to release music and you want to put your streaming revenue at the forefront of your business model, I think you should reconsider doing that, just simply based off this video, because you see how much effort you have to put in to get streams just to make revenue. Where I think this can really flywheel is if you put effort into a different social channel or a different revenue channel. That can eventually grow on its own, which will feed back into the streaming revenue. So like for me, streaming revenue isn't my main source of revenue, but it's still something I put effort in because I'm an artist. I release music and I get money from streaming, but it's not nearly as much money I make from YouTube or courses or affiliate marketing or merchandise and CD sales. This is kind of like icing on the cake, but it's still something that can always take off too. When you get a hit song, when people buy something from you, they go back in and stream your music. So it can always be something that takes off and runs further. How much money are you making on your songs? Am I even close to what I'm suggesting here? Would be cool if you can put that in the comments, and hope to see you in the next video.